tournament. They will go home with a nice little chunk of change, but you definitely want to make it for Woody. I'm Trentino, the dapper man himself, with the Root Riders coming in against Albolin's base. Trentino has just been on a tear with these Root Riders and not wasting any time. Everything is in pretty much.
Yeah, dumping everything without delay ensures that all of the troops are going to be benefiting as much as possible from every spell, every ability. It just means that he won't have quite as much flexibility on the back end of this attack to add any other spells where he may need them. So if everything goes according to plan, this could be a smashing 3-star success. But if there's any hiccups along the way, Trentino will need to be very careful about how he spends his last few remaining hero abilities and spells to ensure that he can make it all the way through this base. The Overgrowth is interestingly going to go back on the far side, attacking that enemy monolith, while the Root Riders are going to be pathing directly through that Giga Poison. A lot of damage taken away at them, and as the traps are going off, we see sprung away several of those druids. Still a very impressive army at a high hit point total. Trentino is looking confident to clean this one out for a 3-star finish, Bash.
I thought he might overgrowth the Town Hall, but I actually elected to go with the Scatter Shot, Ricochet Cannon, and a Monolith, and I think that was actually the better call. The Roots went right through that Town Hall, and it's going to be a convincing 3-star, and HTM Esports are on the board first, and look at the time on that one, just over 80 seconds. Trentino has
a solid start and a good solid closing finish. So let's see if Diego is able to live up to that standard. He actually is going to be going a little bit slower this time around, looking to bring in those Super Witches. He sees HTM Esports bring in a 1 minute and 22 attack, and is going to be dialing the speed back a little bit, maybe hoping that the defenses can hold at some point for Tompinai. But with a few snipes on the right side corner there, the Grand Warden will get this thing started off, supporting him with those healers, and with an invis going out, it's going to be a giant fireball early on, shattering the inside of this base, Bash.
Yeah, I really don't mind this approach. You don't have to keep pace. I think sometimes when you try to keep pace and try to go quick, that's when you're more susceptible to making a mistake. So I don't mind slowing this down with the Super Witches. That fireball was really, really nicely done right there. Set up really good pathing so the Super Witches can go right through the middle of the base. And look at this jump spell, spans that gap perfectly. Now he does need to kind of cut off this Wizard Tower and Cannon at the bottom so that the Witches are going to continue through the middle, and that's the Queen's job. She's going to join the party now and just get those last few defenses out so those Witches will continue moving right through the middle of the base, as we do have that barracks coming on the top side with the P.E.K.K.A.s getting wall broken in there as well.
Wow. Beautiful freeze there, shuts down the single target Inferno, while one of those Ice Golem pops and shuts down a lot of defenses on the inside of that base. The Bomb Tower and Scatter Shot are all disabled. Multi-target and Archer Tower and that Town Hall are going to activate now, with CC troops coming on out to try to do a little bit of slowing action of their own. Ice Golems on defense are going to engage the enemy troops, and those offensive troops are now going to be soaking shots from the Monolith. Skeleton Spell goes down to try to distract it a little bit, and it looks like it will be able to entice a few shots out of that Monolith onto those Skellies. P.E.K.K.A.s from the Siege Barracks are getting awfully low, though, and Diego's going to have to rely instead on the big boys to soak any more remaining shots and keep those Super Witches safe on the backside, Bash.
Yeah, keep an eye on the Super Witch on the bottom. She's starting to fade. That Ricochet Cannon's locked on, but the Queen is going to come over. She's going to fire some shots. Nice and Viz here to keep all those troops alive, and this should be a convincing 3-star for Diego. Tompinai Empire with the response that they needed, and we are all squared away. 3 stars apiece for both of these squads. A little bit quicker for HTM, but ultimately
thus far. And so, expecting a defense, Tompinai Empire will slow their attacks down a little bit and give some more breathing room to ensure that they can try to get all 15 stars of their own. Going back to Mohamed Marawi, he was a player who scored 97% 2 stars in his attack against Head Start Gaming. He's hoping that he can improve upon that and keep HTM on the path to victory with a triple here, attacking very fast in this right side corner with an Archer Queen to stab down that enemy RC, soaking a few black bombs early on just to give a little bit more safety for the follow-up next, which is just going to be a ground-based assault. Valkyries and Root Riders coming in clutch as they make their march through the middle of this base without having to worry at all about walls, Bash.
Just a little bit of funneling on both sides here. We do have rocket balloons coming down the Clan Castle. Uses that Warden's ability to protect the Roots, as those rocket balloons can drop so much damage on top of them. But he did a great job with the Siege Barracks down there at the bottom side with the Royal Champion to get that all funneled out. The Queen on the top side. And now all he's got to do is work through and get towards that Town Hall. He did use the overgrowth, but something to keep an eye on, Woody. There is an invisibility spell tower inside with that town hall and the monolith. So if there's not a lot of troops there, this could be really dangerous. He's gonna have to save at least one freeze, maybe even that rage. That's something to keep an eye on as this overgrowth's gonna wear off a little bit later.
Risky deploy for Mohamed Marawi, who also will have to take out that monolith before he can get his way into that invisibility. It looks like he has saved both free spells to be able to deal with that if necessary, but the Archer Queen gets a perfect lock. Wow, invisibility actually triggers after all, and that's going to require a free spell to come out from Mohamed Marawi to shut down the Town Hall. The Archer Queen and Grand Warden are focused on other targets, but it still looks like it's going to be clearly a 3-star finish here for him now. At 1 star and 99%, he engages the Town Hall and tears it down at the very last moment. This
all of those past mistakes, she's going to go in with a Super Witch Electro Titan combination here. I kind of like this. We saw Rocio going with dragons previously, and now going down to the ground with the Super Witch and Electro Titans. I think this is a little bit of a safer strategy. It's a tougher strategy on this style base, but if she can set up this Warden Walk and set up the pathing nicely, should be rewarded with a nice attack here.
And this is another attack style that can really leverage the skill and experience of teammates who are able to call out any difficulties that they see emerging as this attack forms up. With only 2 invisibilities, this was a clever and good aim with that giant fireball to take out the eagle early on and allow this Grand Warden to pivot to the outer edge. Archer Queen finds another easy shot out that air defense and will keep those healers safe. Now, unfortunately, Rocio's Ice Golem is going to wander to the opposite side of the map and not provide any cover for the big boys and Super Witches that are now being deployed, but with Electro Titans out in front to block additional shots, this is still a very heavy murder ball about to hop into the core. Jump spell ready to deploy, and surely with a crack of the super wall breakers into that right side, Rocio has got a good aim at this base, Bash.
These Ice Globes will slow things down a little bit, and that's always going to be the tough part, especially with that Poison Tower deploying. That Electro Titan up top is also taking a lot of damage. The King with the Earthquake Boots and the Spiky Ball, he's going to get taken out there and go to the Phoenix with the Monolith dealing out lots of damage. But these Ice Golems are slowing this whole attack up right now. Just gotta power through this base right now.
That's a lot of splash damage too from the multi-target Infernos burning those troops up the whole time. They have taken an absolute beating in the core, and it really just seems now it's down to the core troops with the heroes to try to top them back off. I don't see any Electro Titans. I don't see any big boys out in front of these Super Witches. This is a really big high pressure moment for Rocio to power through, take down that scatter shot, and try to remove any more big threats on the final end of this base. You see the pop of the ability there for the Royal Champion, and some hogs are coming on out, but they are torn apart. Giant bombs going off in this Queen's face, and the healers have not been able to pivot back onto her. She does take out the enemy RC, but the healers keeping that big boy and Super Witch topped off instead of helping out this Archer Queen could be a problem later on in this raid. The last corner of the base is on defense now, with a Ricochet Cannon taking down the RC and really just a Super Witch to try to finish off what's left.
Super Witch will spawn. Oh wait, no, the big boy's up top. Never mind. I thought she was going to spawn a new big boy. That big boy's going to be up there. She needs that the big boy. She needs the big boy to go down there. Easy for me to say here.
No.
The Witch is going to go down, and it's going to be a failure for Rocio. Oh no, running out of time. That big boy going up top really caused some issues. Like when he went up there, it really lost the tanking for the Super Witch. Even though if the big boy was down there, that Ricochet Cannon is going to bounce off and probably hit the Super Witch anyways. The Queen just didn't get the healing support. Even the Clone Queen's in there.
For Rocio to find yet another 2-star this week, but an opportunity now for the base building supremacy of HTM to now turn that into an advantage with an attack by Schneider. If he can keep that percentage high and show us at least better than an 85%, it'll be a confident lead now for HTM Esports.
Schneider coming in with the rocket balloon attack strategy. Angry Jelly there on the Warden so that the Warden will target those defenses and set up the pathing, set up the fireball really nicely here. Distracted. I think there's some skeletons right in there. Yeah, distracted on the skeletons, but now that Warden will go back and target some more defenses, but the Jelly is now worn off, so the Warden will target all buildings, and the Angry Jelly does go down. Actually, I don't even know if he had Fireball on this Warden. I didn't see the equipment at the beginning. I just kind of assumed, but ultimately he could maybe even go with a long walk, but with the 3 Invis and the 2 Earthquakes, I am leaning into this should be a Fireball coming in for this Grand Warden soon.
Yep. rages him up as well, and we'll be able to snipe a few more buildings along the outside edge. That's just all the fewer buildings he'll have to worry about dropping the invis on. Rocket Loons pair so well with this giant fireball as well because it allows him to take even more buildings along the outer edge, and with Earthquake, that town hall is toast. Schneider finds the first star and will avoid any potential disastrous one-star result here. HTM will drop the remaining troops along the top side there with King and Queen ready to deal some more damage to that upper corner. Schneider finds that scatter shot and a single target Inferno to be the main threats he's got to deal with on the inside of those compartments, and they're difficult to reach. Eagle Artillery activated now is going to start hammering away at those heroes, and Schneider really has to rely on this sneaky Grand Warden making his way all the way toward the core, taking out that Eagle and denying the big defenses that still Tompinai Empire's Eltano is hoping to hold on to here, Bash.
Great Earthquake boots and spiky ball for the King to open things up, but that single is still out of reach. Does use the invis here on the Queen, does have Queen ability. That wall breaker gives him access to the single. Once the Queen gets through the storage, he'll be able to get in and get that single. 43 seconds. Here come all these Clan Castle archers. This will hold things up. 5 more rocket balloons to be deployed, but he's got some rages. He's got to get cooking through here. There's still a decent amount of base. World Champions on the bottom. But will he have enough cleanup? That's the main thing.
He's the Queen. He's got a single locked onto her.
She's
okay.
Right. She's
Pops
okay,
the ability to keep them safe, but Schneider is running out of time, Bash. Only 20 seconds left, and he's got to get these rocket loons all over the base. Royal Champion makes her way against the Archer Queen, takes her out. He's doing a great job collapsing on still what remains. He's got plenty of firepower, but is there enough time to do it? 8 seconds left as an elixir storage might be the last remaining structure on this base. 3 seconds left, takes it down. The Archer Queen for the final second is a defense for... Rely on that to happen again is just so difficult. Still, Almolin is going to give it his all with this La Lune attack. He's going in old school style. Should be able to snipe down this Eagle Artillery, which is relatively unprotected on the far outer edge of the base. But it seems like maybe Zahid and the base builders over at HTM are hoping that if too much is committed to the bottom corner, that the top and far edges will be too difficult to take out. This is going to be a double Lava Loon attack, and so expect to see 1 Lava Loon used for each of those 2 remaining air defenses on that 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock spot on the base. He's hoping that the King can finish out the last one in the bottom left, and with the ability popped now, it shouldn't be any trouble for him at all, Dash.
He's doing a great job here, but I think this was the intended approach here for Zahid's base. I think they wanted him to go in from the bottom side. That's why that Eagle was so exposed. But on the top side of this base, there is still a lot in there. If he can get this town hall down, Royal Champion now throwing those rocket spears, that would be massive. Clan Castle troops are out. This is going to be a pivotal moment. Can she get it? Rocket spear takes down the town hall. Queen now over, gets the ricochet cannon out, and this Lalos
nice.
A very smooth sail through here. Ice Golem's pulled out, but that shouldn't be a big issue as there's not too many air targeting defenses. The one big thing to keep your eye on here, A, the Warden went with the smaller pack of balloons there, but B, the scatter shot and multi-archer tower on the backside are going to be very difficult, but he's going to use the Stone Slammer to help deal with those.
This is a little bit scary now, Bash, as he's lost all of his heroes. However, he just has so much still left in the skies and no real defenses to worry about besides that scatter shot, which is going down right now. It looks like this was a beautiful aerial preparation done by that Sui hero attempt earlier on. It seemed like maybe he wanted to try to keep that Archer Queen or at least the Royal Champion alive a little bit longer. He still had some healers to try to keep them up, but ultimately denying any defensive coverage for these balloons was all that Almolin needed to do, and the 3-star is all but guaranteed for Tompinai Empire, who will remain ahead now, scoring another triple. No, excuse me, Tompinai Empire behind, but ahead in this attack at least. Finding 3 more stars keeps them competitive despite the 14% deficit that Tompinai have now against Htm Esports.
A great play there with the Stone Slammer there onto the multi-archer tower, and the scatter shot was able to help just...
Earlier, we saw a 3-star from him. Is he going to be able to follow that up and keep Htm Esports in the lead, or will this be another potential weak spot where Tompinai Empire could reverse and gain advantage?
Early fireball here for Zahid, setting up the Super Witch is a great warden walk really just trying to create a little bit of pathing, a little bit of funneling here for the Warden, and then we'll see maybe the Royal Champion or something come in to help deal with that Town Hall a little bit later. We'll have to keep an eye on what he does decide to do with the Town Hall. King and Queen are in on the bottom side, but the Expo locks right onto that Queen. That could be an issue. She's losing health rapidly here. He's got to maybe commit a freeze. The Queen cannot go to ability here. I feel like that's a little bit too early. Yeah, she'll spawn some healers and extra Queens, but I think saving that until a little bit later in the attack would have been more valuable. We'll ultimately see how that plays out. Though Super Witches are working through the middle now with the King. He does have a great setup, but remember, Queen did already burn her ability.
Yeah, he has taken his precious sweet time as he makes his way into the core of the space, but really the only things that are taking shots so far are the tanks, fortunately. Now there is a single target lock on the Unicorn in the back that's going to make it a little bit more difficult for these heroes to wrap around for the final edge of the hit without that little bit of healing gone. Barbarian King out in front has popped his ability and is going to do everything he can against this enemy Royal Champion. Last freeze goes down, and there's no more spells to commit to this raid, but no more walls to defend against them either. The Super Witches get the lock on the Town Hall, and the second star is secured. Only a Monolith and Ricochet Cannon are the last big defenses to have to worry about, with a multi-archer tower going to be easily targeted shortly after that, with the Royal Champion and Archer Queen still looking very, very healthy. RC hasn't even popped her ability yet, and Zahid has found another 3-star today. HTM Esports are marching ahead victoriously, only needing one more triple to claim their win.
The Earthquake Boots did a great job opening up that base, and then pairing the Royal Champion with the Queen was actually a brilliant play. Queen going to ability early didn't come. Frigo Torres is coming in now with a Warden Walk into the rocket balloons. This is a favorite of a lot of these pro players, setting up the Fireball early here. Ooh, okay, there we go. Fireball comes in, takes out that Poison Tower, takes out the Scatter. Great value from the Fireball. Now that Warden can also just walk and take out all these defenses on the exterior without much resistance.
We've got a little bit more context to provide you also from the match that Tompinai Empire fought against Navi earlier today. In fact, Rocio scored the 3-star, and it was Rigo Torres who had the miss. A 2-star 97% was the only miss on that lineup, and so he's actually hoping to make a comeback happen today. Even though we didn't get a chance to see that attack, this is still going to be a very crucial moment for Rigo Torres to prove his worth, to show that the old guard still is standing tall. Tompinai Empire finding a bit of difficulty against HTM Esports in the mid-war, and not any opportunity yet to turn this thing back around. Rigo Torres needs a triple right now, and setting up for these rocket loons. He's done a lot of work already against this base, getting that giant fireball to obliterate the right corner, but it's so spread out, and that's a difficulty for rocket loons. They can take out the outer edges, but making it all the way to the Town Hall will require a carefully positioned Royal Champion making her way directly to Beeline to be inside of the space, Bash.
He does have a Battle Blimp selected right now, so he could elect to send that Battle Blimp for the Town Hall. He does have those sweepers kind of pointed away. Queen's going to come in and help deal with these Clan Castle troops, using a skeleton there also to distract. Does have a Yeti in there for a little bit of extra support. Those Yeti Mites will pop over, take out that air defense, which could set up for this Battle Blimp to come in and go through the middle. Doing a great job just letting this Warden walk and do his thing down there at the bottom. The one thing to keep an eye on is time. Only a minute and 10 seconds remain. Here comes that Battle Blimp for the Town Hall. This is a big moment. The Town Hall has to fall. It's under fire, Woody. Oh, is the Battle Blimp going to get there? He freezes. Tornado Trap. Yetis are under fire. Oh, the Town Hall's almost down. Just needs a couple Yeti Mites. There we go. That was a close call, but ultimately the Yeti Mice do get the Town Hall down. He's got 45 seconds remaining, but a lot of base. Here comes the World Champion to provide more support.
Barb King up top, picked back up by the Phoenix, but he can't get through this wall, and the Archer Queen's gonna have a little more difficulty making her way toward the inside where that scatter shot is still standing. Battle Builder doing everything he can to repair that thing up, and the Air Sweeper pushes the Phoenix up. It's gonna be firing away on a few more different defenders, but that looks like all there is left to this base. With the scatter shot being targeted by everything now, the bombs just cannot be stopped, and the Royal Champion marching victoriously to the left side corner finds the last building taken out. Rigo Torres. Possibility of an overwhelming victory. It's going to be an early overgrowth on the right side with 2 invisibilities to target the interior. I have not seen an overgrowth used to help a giant fireball lock like that before, Bash.
Yeah, it's a little bit more unconventional, but not only will it shut down those defenses, but it'll also create the pathing. It's essentially the same as using 2 invises, but he also has the benefit of not having to deal with those defenses now, so he can push everything to the left side of this base. So yeah, it's not a very conventional approach, but when it's done right, and we see it done pretty well right here, it can be very, very effective. Jump spell is in to create the pathing for the super witches. He wants to keep this queen on the outside, so as long as these super witches can surge forward, he should be able to do that. Raid's tower goes down, but there's not a lot of defenses there for it to affect, so that'll actually be a benefit to him as Paul is making his way through Rigo's base, and he's got to make his way all the way over to the town hall. Let's see if the royal champion comes in to support the queen, or if she'll go more on the right side for those remaining defenses.
Super Witches are well protected by the big boys out in front, hopping over walls and cracking through them with the Earthquake boots. The king out in front is going to take his last shot as he goes down and is picked up for a little bit longer thanks to the Phoenix, making their way up toward the town hall. It's a Tesla farm going to be popping out and trying to distract and keep all of these defenses firing away, but there's just not enough splash damage to handle the overwhelming force of these Super Witches. They get the lock into the town hall, and with super minion support, the long bomb has scored the 2nd star. Paul, on his way to the triple, has a few more hitches in his way. Ricochet Cannon does take out one of those Super Witches, and the outer edge of the base is now going down. Royal Champion for the cleanup along the outer edge gets her Hog Riders to help on out, and this is looking like a triple.
Htm Esports get the victory with this 3-star from Paul. A very well executed attack. You shouted it out, Woody. A very unconventional opening with the overgrowth with 2 invises, but strong hero dive to set this one up as he looks to surge through the bottom of this base. Baby Dragon setting up some funneling, some pathing there. The king's gonna go in. Oh wait, I think he wants the king to go into that compartment. The king's actually going to go south. Let's see if we can get the king back. Yeah, the king's going to go to the bottom. I think he wanted the king to go up top towards that Ricochet Cannon Royal Champion and the multi-target Inferno. He's trying to get him back on track here with another wall break, and maybe with the Earthquake boots he can push him over there, but I don't think this is exactly what Eltano wanted.
Yeah, a bit of a strange entry so far, but still salvageable. When the heroes go in this hard early on, at least they're going to get some value against something. But he's got to have some sort of way of dealing with the remaining structures that could cause a problem for this raid. Seeing on that right side an air defense that won't be targeted early on thanks to that queen going down. We're going to have to see another way, maybe with this top left air defense taking some fire early on. But with the CC troops coming out and seeing so many ice golems, this Royal Champion is going to have her work cut out for her, chewing through so many defenses and relying on invisibility spells now to try to keep her safe as air sweepers push that lone healer back and give even more problems for Eltano. The balloons are coming in now, hell or high water, doing their best to push on in, but 2 lava hounds are already popped, and that is just so much damage that these aerial troops are having to sustain way too early in the raid, Bash.
Yeah, I don't think he got as much as he was hoping for out of the heroes. Does use a beautiful freeze there on the town hall and the sweeper to make sure that he does get this town hall down. And this one is still okay, but he does have that queen, the multi, and the scatter shots up, which is really, really tough. No more spell support, and these balloons are going to fall down from the skies, and it's going to be a 2-star defense once again for HTM Esports.
Yeah, there's no more nothing. The entire raid is just relying on what he's already dropped, and there's no additional support to commit. A really unusual finish here as Eltano, now with a low percentage 2-star, has given Tompinai a solid attempt, but cannot claim victory in the end. He's done all he could, but they will be eliminated now in the lower bracket. Laloon, just such a difficult attack style to master and so precise required on the placement there. Just could not find the way to make this happen.
I think this was more about the heroes. I don't think his heroes completely cooperated with him. I still think he wanted the king to go into that left compartment and make his way over to the royal champion, and then maybe support the queen with the royal champion down on the bottom side and get a stronger push in there. So I think he just had a little bit of issues with the heroes kind of going the way not the way he wanted them to, and that allowed them not to get enough value and really made it for an impossible Lalo setup here. If he could have maybe got the sweeper out there from the middle, like if he had the world champion in there, it could.
Finals, is it going to be another closeout, this time an organizational closeout by HTM Brazil and HTM Esports, seeking that opportunity to close the Snapdragon Pro Series Season 6 with the top HTM down to the lower bracket?
Yeah, TTP Esports is very tough, but these two teams are familiar with themselves. As you see there in the semis, they did play each other, with TTP Esports coming out on top. But ultimately, this one will be for not necessarily all the marbles, but a lot more marbles, as it will be an elimination matchup, and the loser of that will be our third